Good morning, everyone from Bangkok, Thailand. This is DoMoreLife, and welcome to the Saturday morning edition of your travel news, Thailand updates, the news about Phuket Sandbox Model, the changes that have been made. I think you're going to find those interesting. Lyle, good morning to you. Mark, MetTech, Griffin, Robert. Who else did I miss that's already in the house this morning? Mr. Filthos, of course. Prep for it. Hey, Jose and Steve Dunn. I hope you are, or Steve the Sandman, I should say. I hope you are still here. Travel TV, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Glad to know you're on your way back to, I started to say the Big Mango, but that would be incorrect. The Kingdom of Thailand. Let's say that. I have some very interesting news. First, I would like to read the description for today's video, if you guys don't mind. Already one down, going to be a good night. Yes, it is going to be a good night. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, guys, for the YouTube algorithm. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, so let's hear the news. Let me read you the description first, and then I will get straight into the news about Phuket. Then we will talk about the rest of what's going on here in Thailand regarding vaccine rollouts, jabs that have been delivered, companies that are delivering. Jim is doing much better. MedTech, I'm glad you brought that up. Jim, I spoke to Jim, or I chatted with Jim yesterday, and he's doing much better. So hopefully we'll see him in the live stream at some point today. Now, in this live stream, we cover Thailand's changes to the Phuket Sandbox Model. We also cover the latest travel news and updates. The future of Thailand tourism largely depends on how successful the planned reopening of Phuket to international tourists is. Hello, Eric. Good to see you. I don't think I can stress that enough. This reopening in Phuket is crucial for Thailand. Thailand needs foreigners to help bring back its tourism industry. In addition, the long-term success of Thailand's economic recovery is dependent on its vaccine rollout. In this video, we share the latest updates and news surrounding the vaccine rollout in Thailand and what it means for the country's recovery. Thailand's tourism industry needs to see Phuket Sandbox Model work almost flawlessly to bring foreigners back to Thailand safely and conveniently. That conveniently is a big word there. Robert, thank you for posting the PayPal link. I will put that at the top of the screen. Pin the message if you so choose to contribute to the channel. That is the easiest way to do it. And just for giggles, I will, just in case somebody wants to, I don't know why you would, but in case you want to, that's my Cash App number. So that takes care of the contributions. You can contribute at any time you want. Now, let's talk about the sandbox model, because that is really what everybody is focused on, including me. And there's some good news and maybe not some so good news. So the overall gist of everything is they put more restraints on what you can and can't do. For example, you can't leave the island, like you can't go on an island tour anywhere else in Phuket. I'm going to read you the whole article. It's very interesting from the Tiger, but I want to give you the overall summary. They've changed the time that you have to stay on the island from 7 to 14 days. So while if you are a fully inoculated, you've had both your jabs or the one jab, and you come to Phuket, then you have to stay on the island for 14 days, then get your test, and then you can move around the country. In summation, that's the largest change we've seen to it, but there are some minor changes that will have a major impact on whether or not this happened. Hi, Pan Pon. Good morning. Good to see you. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate you saying hello. I hope you are doing well. Filto says will be interesting to see if Thailand has eroded confidence enough with their uh, constant policy changes that tourists don't believe the rules will hold until they actually arrive there. You have an excellent point. That is really the question of the day. Will the tour will it hold? Will the plans hold? So I'm going to read you exactly what the Tiger had to say, and I'm also going to read you some quotes from some people that are directly involved in this process. So from the Tiger, it's official, sort of. After months of kicking sand around debating if it will really happen, the Center for Economic Situation Administration has officially approved the Phuket Sandbox Plan, an important step forward. The announcement made later this afternoon, that was yesterday, appears to answer the often posed question if the Sandbox Plan would ever happen after the much more intense third wave swept through Thailand. JX, hello, my friend. That we're going to get to that. Apparently, the answer to that question is yes, and I'll get to that in a second about the nightlife in Phuket. The bars and clubs should be coming online, to the best of my knowledge, as the sandbox model proceeds. We'll get in more of that in a little bit. So, following this huge step forward, the CCSA is expected to approve the Phuket. Remember, this has not been published in the Royal Gazette yet. Okay, this is just everything being outlined right now. Following this huge step forward, the Center for the CCSA is expected to approve the Phuket Sandbox proposal officially on Monday, followed by the Thai Cabinet Tuesday, then publishing in the Royal Gazette, the announcing format that makes everything official in Thailand. Many of you asked me what the Royal Gazette is. It is the announcing format that makes everything official in Thailand. That is the definition of the Royal Gazette. Then the island will be opening Phuket International Airport to foreign travelers as proposed by the Tourism Authority of Thailand. A few key questions seem to be clarified in the announcement. And here is a big one. This is a huge one because last week we talked about how you could only fly into Phuket and Phuket only, right? Well, that seems to have changed. This approval appears to state that transit via Bangkok Suvarnabhumi Airport will be permitted on your way to Phuket. This opens up more options for flights into Thailand. Also, travelers arriving in Phuket will need to stay a minimum of 2 weeks before traveling to other parts of Thailand, doubling the original 7 days that had been expected. So now you can fly into Bangkok under this proposal as we hope as it is approved, and your stay in Phuket is now doubled from 7 to 14 days. So those are some of the major changes. There are also more. Tourists will not be permitted to take excursions like Koh Phi Phi or Phang Nga Bay day trips. In fact, the only option to leave the island within those 14 days is if they are flying out of the Phuket airport. The official rules of the Phuket Sandbox reopening state that international travelers must be fully jabbed for at least 2 weeks before entering Thailand. But the jabs can't be more than 1 year old either. Passengers must be from a low to medium risk country. If all these conditions are met, the travelers will be permitted to enter Phuket without any queue or quarantine or self-isolation. During your 14 days, you can travel anywhere on the island of Phuket, the largest island in Thailand. It's about the same size as Singapore. One big question mark throughout the whole evolution of the Phuket Sandbox program is how children will be handled. So if you're planning on coming with kids, this may be important. The CESA have now laid out guidance stating that kids under 6 years old and traveling with parents who have already been jabbed will be allowed to enter without restriction. For those between ages of 6 and 18, a rapid test will be administered as soon as they arrive at Phuket International Airport. Another point of debate was exactly which jabs would be accepted in order to enter Thailand. Well, this announcement by the CESA concluded that the jab brand must be either one approved by the Thai FDA, which is currently the Sino, the AZ, J&J, Mod, and Sino-P, by the way. I hope you guys know what that is. Or one certified by the WHO. Those are the ones that are accepted if you wish to come in. As the initiative is aimed at bringing back tourism, even expats or Thais with a home in Phuket will be required to book a hotel. This is important. To book a hotel that complies with the C-19 safety standards before traveling to other parts of Thailand. Unlike ASQ, though, which is still an option for unvaccinated travelers, you are only required to book a hotel, but can stay at other SHA, which is the hotel administration here in Thailand, registered hotels during your stay on the island. The CESA meeting also included an approved proposal to work on attracting wealthy investors, pensioners, and travelers, high-skilled professionals, and digital nomads. Deputy PM and Energy Minister Patapong, his last name starts with a P, has been tasked with discussing the details of that program with all the agencies involved and submit its findings in the future. Phuket has cleared the first major hurdle towards approval, and with momentum, it looks like the floodgates to tourism will reopen for better or worse. Time will tell if it opens a stream of economy-boosting tourists to the sandbox or opens a Pandora's sandbox of another wave. So that is the big news on the Sandbox model in Phuket. I'm going to take your comments right now, and then we'll go on to some more news, time permitting. Let's see here. Travel TV says, don't forget the insurance. Yep. When you come here, the last piece of information that I read was you need $100,000 of USD insurance coverage. There are multiple ways to do that. I suggest Googling the insurance that you will need to come to Thailand and finding the right insurance company. I know I use AIA for my health insurance. I think they have some programs. Read through the fine print, because some of the fine print can get really fine, if you know what I mean. Let's see here. What do we have? Filtho says, excellent. Was wondering if HKT could handle the big, comfortable international flights that BKK can. I'm not sure. Hi, Andy. MedTech says, no Phuket for me. I'll head directly to Bangkok. Now, if you head to Bangkok, now this is the way I understand it, MedTech. Okay, I could be wrong, but this is the way I understand it. If you head to Bangkok, you still have, and you don't go to Phuket, you still have to do the 14 days. That's the way I understand everything that's been written. But if you fly into Bangkok and then go to Phuket, then you do 14 days on the island. Whereas you would have to do like a 14-day ASQ here in Bangkok. Don't ask me about the logic of it because I don't know. But what I can tell you is that's the way I understand it for now. Again, I could be wrong on that, but I'm not sure I am. Filtho says, will native Thais be able to travel freely to and from Phuket domestically? That is, can the girlfriend come and stay with you? Excellent question. To the best of my knowledge, if a native Thai, this is to the best of my knowledge, I'm not stating this as fact. The last thing I read about native Thais wanting to come onto the island of Phuket is they have to come in and they have to have a negative test. That was the last stated requirement for people coming onto the island. So, like domestically, I haven't heard any change in that policy. They may have underwritten a change in that policy, but if so, I have not heard of it. But that's a great question, Philtos. Charles White, good to see you, bud. He says, give it some time. Bangkok will open. Bangkok's going to open. The BMA, which is the Bangkok Metropolitan Association, is really pushing hard to try to open. If you will remember, I had to make a correction last week, I believe. I did a live stream, and we talked about the BMA was going to reopen a number of things, and the CCSA shut them down. They would not allow them to open. So Bangkok is pushing hard to get its businesses back open and up and running. Today's numbers, 2,817 new cases. I believe 36 people. Yeah, 36 people who are no longer with us. They don't ever give information about the people, or they don't give detailed information about the people who are no longer with us for the most part. Every once in a while, you might get a little information, but it's come and go. It really is come and go. If you hadn't hit the thumbs up button yet, guys, please do so. I would greatly appreciate it. MedTech says, I'm going in December, whatever the circumstances. I hear you, bud. Nothing wrong with that. By December, honestly, the way, and I have confidence in saying this, and I'm going to get into this later in the stream. I think by December, in my opinion, this is an opinion piece, you should be okay to come, especially if you've had both your jabs, or the one jabber. You should be able to come and not have many problems at all. Again, this is all surrounding and all assuming that there are no more big clusters that emerge, that kind of thing. Eric in Virginia says, I'm waiting to come to Thailand, but with all due respect, if coming on vacation, who had 2 weeks to just stay in one spot and with no excursions, I feel that 2 weeks would eat up my time. Looks like 2022 for me. That's fair enough, Eric. That's fair enough. The one good thing I can say about the Phuket Sandbox Model and them making you stay on the island for 2 weeks, there's a lot to do on Phuket, especially if the businesses are going to be up and running. I say if, but really, I've read some information that says, they're going to be up and running. That they're calling people back to work now. They're over. Let me just pull the information up. It would be easier to do it that way, I believe. Let me talk to you about that briefly. This is from a source that I have recently acquired. Let me get the information up here, guys, and I will I will share it with you. Need to see the whole thread. Why can't I see the whole thread? That is not cool. Oh, there it is. The reason I say that is because AZ has delivered 1.8 million doses ahead of the mass rollout. This was on this was a couple days ago. Hotels and tourist operators on Phuket Island were at least claimed by the source 70% of staff are inoculated, have started to register for the SHA Plus certificate. That's the certificate that allows them to bring guests in and have them on the island. It's the saying that they are C19 approved with safety standards and that kind of thing. So 400 hotels have signed up, with more expected to join soon. So you can look up the SHA on the internet and find that out. I think that's pretty important. And that's also good news that 400 hotels have signed up for it. So at least you know that there will be places to stay on the island of Phuket if you come. Now, you go MedTech. That's right, Lyle. You go MedTech. MedTech says 2 years since I seen girlfriend. Long distance relationship isn't long term viability. I couldn't agree more. Charles says, if I remember, I paid $200 for my insurance, plural, because of my exit date. I had to pay for 2 months. Yep, and it's all going to depend on what your exit date is. I won't say it's all going to depend on your exit date, but the insurance plans that you need to get here, we'll try to do. Maybe I'll do a deep dive into those tomorrow. I'll try to do some research today, and we'll do that for the live stream tomorrow, possibly. But the insurance plans typically, I know when they started, the cost was for how long you were going to be here. Now that was a long time ago. So now that travelers are coming and they're inoculated, or so the vast majority are expected to be inoculated, the prices may go down. We don't know, or they could go up. I mean, this is Thailand. Anything can happen. But good information, Charles. Thank you. Eric says, this upsets me because I wanted to look at buying a restaurant or hotel in Pattaya. You can still do that. In fact, right now, if you want to buy anything in Pattaya, is the time to do it. The prices for buildings, hotels, restaurants, clubs are rock bottom right now in Pattaya. Pattaya is on a track to reopen fully on October the 1st. Maybe it'll open before that. Maybe it'll open after. But it's on track to do that, and there are so many businesses down there. I get pictures and emails and everything else almost daily from friends that live there. The prices are extremely low. So if you want to do something like that, now's the time to do it. In my opinion. That's not financial advice, by the way. Chang Noi, hey Jeremy, just joined the chat. What's changed? To summarize, Phuket has said you can come in fully inoculated beginning July 1st. Of course, you have to have insurance, but instead of the 7 days on the island where you can roam around free, it's going to be 14 days on the island. And instead of only being able to fly into Bangkok, Phuket International Airport, you can fly into Savanabhumi, and then go to Phuket. Those are the major two things. Yeah, I heard about all that in the news, Carl. We're not doing that one. Assassin's Creed History says, I think most people will use the Sandbox model to actually enter into the country rather through queue at Bangkok. I agree 100%. it's my understanding, by the way the information has come out, we won't know anything for sure until it's published in the Royal Gazette Tuesday or Wednesday. But it's my understanding that you can fly into Bangkok and go to Phuket for your 14 days on the island, provided you have certificate of entry, insurance, fully inoculated, although you meet all the criteria. There's a lot of criteria that has to be met. Lee says, do you think December is going to be like regular crowded this year, 2021? No, I don't think the tourist areas in Thailand are going to be crowded again for at least a year. Not like they used to be. We may see a surge, but highly unlikely, in my opinion. Highly unlikely. Andy says you could easily spend 2 weeks on Phuket and not get bored. I agree if the nightlife and the restaurants and the entertainment activities and if everything's open on Phuket, I agree, Andy. Matt Tex he's fully inoculated. Travel TV says, how do you apply for the Sandbox model? You still have to get a COE. I look online at embassy, but no info. That's going to be the only way is through the embassy. I'm not sure, Travel TV. I'm not sure about that. Through the embassy, everything that I've heard about coming into Thailand on the Phuket Sandbox model has been come in to Phuket via your embassy. So in other words, you need to get a COE from your embassy, and whatever visa you're going to apply for needs to be done through the embassy. So if you can't get answers through the embassy, I would go to Thai Visa and try to get some answers there. Maybe get on some forums. You could also go to one of the Facebook groups that have more information in them. That would be my suggestion, because I do not have a clear answer for you on that, and I'm not going to give you an answer if I don't have one. Charles says, so long as they have no local blooms, Phuket bars, restaurants, parks, beaches, etc., will be open days after they confirm flights are on the way inbound. For the most part, it sounds that way, and we certainly hope that that is the case. I haven't heard anything to the contrary, but at the same time, if the businesses were going to be closed and it was going to be a slow reopening, they wouldn't advertise that either. I don't feel like they would put that out in the news. So it's going to be a iffy situation. And my fear is, if a lot of people do decide to come and take advantage of the Sandbox model, what if they don't open the businesses and the entertainment venues and the nightlife that Phuket has to offer? Because all that's there. If they don't do that, and you have a bunch of tourists that are coming to Thailand for that purpose, that could potentially turn off a lot of people from coming to Thailand. And I would hate to see that happen. I really would. CJ says, hello, everyone. Hello to you. Charles says, it won't be as crowded in December like 2019 just because people are shy to commit a trip anywhere. Very good point, Charles. Travel TV says, I'm buying a... I hear you, brother. I'm going to take that one down. I don't think YouTube would like that one very much, but I hear you, man. Do your thing, bro. Charles says, embassy won't post things about Sandbox option until it's in the Gazette. Well, there you go. Then wait till Tuesday or Wednesday, and you should have much more information on that. Eric says, air travel in full swing here in the States. Rental car places sold off stock due to sea, and now there is a shortage of rental cars. Imagine this has happened worldwide. I would think so. I would think so, and I would think that would be a problem. Hopefully, they have, I don't want to say the same problem, but hopefully they have, not a shortage, but they've done their think through here in Thailand, and they're ready to provide transportation and ways to get around here in Thailand, including on the island of Phuket. I think the guys that you have to understand that Phuket's been closed for a long time, and they've been closed periodically on and off multiple times. So the businesses there are starving for money. They're going to do anything they can. Don't forget about the $1 one night plan that they have, which basically says you can stay at a hotel that normally charges between 1,000 and 3,000 baht per night. You can pay $1 and stay there. You get one night for $1. So that's a promotional advert for coming to Phuket. Charles is laughing. He says lots of tourists wandering the streets if they don't allow businesses to open Zombieland. Yeah, that's like I said, that's my fear. That is honestly my fear, Charles. Andy says, Eric, shortage of rental cars in parts of Australia as well. Shecky says, hello. Hello to you. Brown Al Bundy, hey Jeremy, it's Alonzo. Oh, hey Alonzo, what's up, bud? Hope you've been well, brother. Thanks for all the Thailand updates. You're more than welcome. I love doing these updates. I get a lot out of them, so it keeps me informed. Ross, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. He says even if Pattaya is open tomorrow, there are still so few people around the world fully jabbed. Not to be a downer, but it's going to take a long time before we get to 50% of how it was. And I agree, Ross. I agree. And I don't consider that to be a downer. I consider that to be realistic because it's true. It's going to take a while for people to be able to come in. And remember when I read that article about the Phuket Sandbox Model, they talked about low to medium risk countries. So what if you're trying to come here from a high-risk country? Well, they didn't give any information about that. So, what's their ultimate plan? It's, I don't know. It's a good question. Alonzo, it's good to hear from you, though, man. I'm glad you are doing well. Look forward to seeing you again, too. Travel TV says, if you can get a hotel for $1, imagine what it would look like if it was $2 or $20. That's very true. Very true. Very true. Autumn Asia, what's up, buddy? Hello, just got back from the beach. Sorry to miss some. No problem. No worries. No worries. No worries. You can always go back and catch the very beginning for the replay there. Law says we have 18 up and 3 down. Good. Moving right along. Ryan, hey Ryan, I want the tattoo parlors and temples open as well as bars, clubs, even though I don't drink. What else is the point? Well, that's kind of the point we've made, Ryan, and to your point, I agree. I mean, you want to see if you come here as a tourist on Phuket, you want to see a bustling island that is full of businesses that are open, ready to cater to you, and doesn't really matter what the pretext behind it is. I wouldn't think so. That I hear you loud and clear. MedTech says, do any of you offer cars via Turo? I've rebuilt a 2014 Dodge Journey I was intending to sell. Would rentals be better if there's a rental car shortage? I'll leave that up to the chat. Charles says, that's the thing I'm worried about. What countries are low to medium? They haven't published that. You would think, and who decides that? Again, that would likely be published in the CCSA would likely provide that information. Let me see what Ross says here. He says, look at the top 5 countries that visit Thailand. None are even close to jab levels. The USA has done. Thailand bubble, Israel, and the USA. Who else is even close to 50% jab levels? And he's got a point. So how do they determine low to medium risk countries? I don't know. And they haven't given us any information that I'm aware of to tell us what those low to medium risk countries are. If there's somebody that has that information, I would love for you to share it. That would be great. I would imagine, as Ross has said, you're looking at countries that have achieved high levels of inoculation or higher levels of inoculation. And there's just not that many around, to be completely honest with you guys. There's just not that many. Is it fair? I don't know. Is it what's the structure that they're going to use to plan for it? I'm not sure. They haven't given us that information yet, unfortunately, and I certainly hope they do sometime very soon. That would be good information to be able to pass along to the people that need it. What is a low to medium risk country? That's a question that I feel like needs to be answered so that we can know what we're looking at. Now, at the same time, I imagine if you go, hey, Adam, good to see you, bud. I would imagine if you go to your, whatever country you're from, if you go to your Thai consulate there, or Thai embassy, you would be able to find out if you are in a low to medium risk country, which is what they've stated clearly here for outlining of the Phuket model. So let me go back here, and there's a lot of news, lots of news for you that I wanted to go over. Okay, so this is some good news. Hey, Richard, good to see you, bud. Thank you so much for dropping by. I'm glad you're here. Glad to see all my channel members in the house tonight. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate you guys, and looking forward to a good month this month. By the way, just on a personal note, the job, my little personal update here, looks like the job, everything's fine. Just going to be working a lot harder, and essentially, I guess, a little bit more time each day. So my making YouTube videos will through the week will mostly be updates and that kind of thing. However, I will travel as much as possible on the weekends when travel is available. I assure you, I will do that. Charles says it will most likely. Hang on. Charles said it will most likely November to December before I can afford it again. I want to get back ASAP. Just left and crying already. I hear you, buddy. Shaky says, are people from the USA being allowed in right now? I'm planning on coming ASAP as I just made arrangements to rent my house so I can go to Thailand. Anybody can get in right now on a 14-day queue. But with the Phuket model, you're going to need to wait. The Phuket Sandbox Model, where you don't have to queue, you just have to stay on the island. If you're fully inoculated, you have to stay on the island for 14 days. That's not going to open up until July the 1st. Ross says, I think we can agree India and Vietnam are now high risk. I think that would be a fair assumption. I can't say that for sure because I don't have official press releases on that, but I think that's. I'll read you a story about India and what they're using non-approved jabs right now in India. That's how desperate they are. But I'll try to get to that story at some point during this live stream, Ross. And Vietnam, I'm not sure about, but I would imagine the Thai government, again, this is an assumption. It's just an assumption. I would imagine the Thai government would probably be happy to throw them into a high-risk category. David hello from Australia. Hello, David. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Coming in the stream. Charles says, sweet news, JC. Glad to hear. Good. Ross is talking to Shaky. He says, Thailand has been open. Just need to do a 14-day SQ. Yep. Ryan says, I think here in New York City, over 50% of the 8 to 9 million people are VID. Infections are down to triple digits, deaths double digits. So getting the jab is key. Agreed. Shaky says, so I am not allowed to start the arrangements for Phuket until July 1st. No, I think you can start the arrangements as soon as the Royal Gazette. But let me be clear on this. You can start making your plans for July as soon as the Royal Gazette publishes the information about the Sandbox Model, which will be this coming Tuesday or Wednesday, according to the article I just read from the Tiger. So if you wait till midweek next week, you should be able to go to you should be able to, okay? Not saying you will, but you should be able to go to your Thai embassy or consulate and get all the information you need to start making plans to come in July. Roy, hey Roy, good to see you, man. Seems 70% of people in the world will need to be jabbed. Until then, the situation isn't going to change much. Also, everybody may need booster jabs yearly. Yes, I've heard about that too, and that's another whole nother topic about the boosters. We'll talk about that later on down the road. But the rest of your comment, until the 70% threshold is reached, pretty much worldwide, it's not, I agree, not a whole lot is going to change for the entire world. There may be places in the world that change, but, this is, I have to be really careful what I say. I think you have a fair point, Roy. I'll leave it at that. Adam says, got my Magic Shark part 1, and the UK would be interested if Thai government would give tourists ASQ exemption by the end of the year. I would think so. I see what you're saying. I would think so. As long as you have both your magic shots or the one that only requires one, I think by the end of the year, Thailand is going to be in a position to really want tourists to come back, really want people from overseas to come over here. So have to wait and see, but that's where we stand right now. Ross says, I believe there are going to be all new types of flight routes to avoid high-risk countries for layovers, or Thai Airway could restart their once-a-week non-stop from LA to BKK. That's a good point. However, at this time, all the information that I've read have been that the vast majority of these flight routes are actually running through some high-risk countries. I won't say the vast majority. But there are some flight routes that are still running through what could be interpreted as high-risk countries. So that's going to be interesting. I also read the process that we're going through to make sure that travelers didn't have problems running through those high-risk countries, but who knows, right? Charles says, Roy, even at 70%, there will be clusters and spotty reports. I agree. Chang Noi or Ross, they'd have to get their FAA status upgraded before they can do that. That's fair point. Chang Noi says, but I think it would be great if they did. USA hasn't had a nonstop in ages. You have a very good point there. Montelli, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. I'm going to steal from Sandy Moonstone. Ban me now. I'm going to be bad. Easy, Montelli. Easy. Greg says, dang it, I'm late. Missed Montelli's stream too. Terrible. It's all good, man. It's all good. I'm sure we'll circle back. I can't believe I just said that. I'm sure we'll talk about things that we said in the past in this live stream several times. Ross says, Chang Noi years ago, they had a 777 flight it was about $200 more than a layover flight, 16-hour flight. That'd be cool. 1 second, guys. Just got an important text here. One second, guys. I'm sorry. All right. Yeah, I know, Greg. I didn't mean to say that. Charles said, from Central U.S., all my flights go through Taiwan, Korea, or Hong Kong. I've only been through. Well, no, that's not true either. I haven't flown from the U.S. to Thailand. I've only flown from the U.S. to the Philippines. I've flown from the Philippines to Thailand. So all of my flights went through. I did the one through Taiwan, and I also took one that went through Germany, Singapore, and then into the Philippines. Chain Noise said, yes, they did. Sadly, the FAA downgraded their safety rating, just like they've done to Mexico. Ooh, that's not good. I know, my bad on the wording there, guys. Lyle said, did my challenge get taken down? What challenge? You got a challenge? I didn't see it, Lyle. Did I miss your challenge? Lyle, if I missed your challenge, I'm going to be very ashamed of myself. The last thing I see from you is 18 up and 3 down. I did not see a challenge, Lyle. Robert says, no, it never appeared. You got a challenge, buddy? Throw it out there. I'd love to hear it. Chain Noise says, I work for an airline. I'm praying one day we go to Asia. I hear you. Is UAE high risk? That's a good question, MetTech. Very good question. We'd have to go on a website somewhere and find that out. Steve Montello said, you actually said, circle back. I find it cringy to say reach out. I didn't mean to, man. I didn't mean to. It was a slip of the tongue. Autumn in Asia says, all my flights came through Shanghai. That's interesting. Haven't heard that. TT, what's up, man? Actually, Jim's doing better. Jim is doing better. He was in bad shape, but he's doing good. Doing much better now. And I just spoke to him yesterday. He's feeling better. So good news for all the Jim Pale fans. I'm sure he'll be back at some point. Law says, I set a challenge, get $75. I'll throw in 25 until 11:15. So, wow. So that gives us 30 minutes. Well, 28 minutes. 28 minutes for $75, guys. And you will give the DoMoreLife channel, because of Lyle's contribution, will be in good shape. We'll be in good shape. That'll be $100 for today. That would be greatly appreciated, because I still have more information to go over with you too. So $75 till 11:15, and Lyle throws in 25. Lyle, I appreciate you, brother, very, very much. Thank you for throwing that out there. We'll see who makes you pay, man. Filtho says, challenge, finding Lyle's challenge. Thankfully, I found it, or he retyped it. Thanks again, Lyle. I appreciate it. Not sure. Bradley says, yeah, I think Thai Airways used to go nonstop from LAX, FAO, and JFK to Bangkok. The last time I flew on Thai, I went from LAX to Seoul to Bangkok. Same plane with about an hour stop in Seoul. Yeah, I did that. I took a A380 from JFK to to Germany, and then to Singapore, and then we got on a 747-400, I think, and went to the Philippines. Fast Delivery says, hey, sir, how can I get in touch with you? My email is on the About section of this channel. So if you go to my channel's homepage, you can do that. Hey, Jason Lowe kicks in 20 Australian dollars super chat. Thank you very much, Jason. Much appreciated. Richard kicks in $10 for the super chat. Much appreciated. I really appreciate that, guys. Just so you know, we should have clarified, I guess. Lyle's challenge is for PayPal, and that's what this challenge is for. But thank you for the super chats. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. That'll come out next month, and I'll use it then. I appreciate them very much. Thank you guys so much. And Richard, I appreciate you saying a great show. We got more to go for sure. Please contact his son. I've talked to him directly, TT. So it's he's told me what's going on. Autumn says Air China or China Air. That's a good question. I've never flown either one. Big C says checking in for me, Sanjez. Thank you for checking in, Big C. It's been a while, man. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. Jason says you're welcome. I really appreciate that, Jason. Thank you very much for the super chat. Very appreciative. Always appreciative of any kind of. Anytime anybody spends their hard-earned money to support this channel, there's a lot of gratitude there. Chang Noy says, I've flown both. Yep, Lau says the original challenge stayed to PayPal or Cash App, but it's all right. There's still people that can get there. We've got, we got 15, 10. Here comes 20. In other words, we still got some time. Live. We got, 20 and 15, 35, 34 minutes. Mr. Charles White has just sent in $20 to hit your challenge, Lyle. Thank you very much, Mr. White. Right there, Charles White. $20. So 20 down, and there's Griffin. 25 more. Thanks for all you do, he says. And he sent it in via Cash App. Very interesting. Thank you very much, Mr. Griffin. Check that out. Thanks for all you do. So 20 and 25 is 55. We need 20 more dollars via Cash App or PayPal. Thank you, Griffin. I really appreciate that, brother. Very much appreciated. It makes what I do really makes me feel like it's worthwhile. So thank you guys very much for that. I appreciate it a lot. We'll continue on with the comments, and I'll get back into more news here in just a minute. Thank you guys for all your contributions and support. It really means a lot. We only need $20 more to hit Lyle's challenge, and that would be a fantastic day for sure. Chang Noy says China. Oops, I lost his comments. He says China Airlines is based in Taipei. Great product. I did not know that, and I would imagine anything coming out of Taiwan is going to be pretty good. I really like that country. I was only there for 17 and a half hours, but I enjoyed my time there. Chang Noy says Air China based in Shanghai, I believe. I see. Bradley says China Airlines goes through Taipei. Air China goes through China. Use China Airlines or Eva Air. Thank me later. Yeah, I hear you. I've flown Eva Air. I did the 16-hour Eva Air flight from JFK to Taipei. And I have to tell you, that was one of the most pleasant flights I've ever taken, especially the return flight when I went home a couple years ago when I made my initial visit to the Philippines. I had a whole row to myself, and it was a very pleasant flight. Robert put the Cash App tag up there in case you guys don't have PayPal. We need $20 more to meet the challenge. Roy says there's a great Facebook site with the current situation of people traveling between Bangkok and the UK. Lots of people are still traveling. Awesome. I actually talked to some of my friends that I've met here in Thailand that are in the UK, and they're like, I'm not really messing with Thailand this year. I'll wait till next year. I don't know why that is. They're traveling to other places. So yeah, Roy, they are traveling, but just some of the people I've talked to have said not Thailand. MedTech says during the crisis is the king. I can't comment on that. In fact, I'm just going to remove it altogether. Sorry, MedTech. No disrespect to you. I know the answer, but I can't comment. I can't even give you a hint on that. I don't even want to talk about that at all. Let's see here. Chang Noy says Eva has a great product too. Yes, they do. Alderman Asia says glad he teaches English. Brian Albani says, Jeremy, what's your Cash App? Robert put it right there. It is the $ B7478, and yes, that is a reference to the latest edition of the 747-8. That is my Cash App tag. Roy says KLM, Emirates, Finnair are flying Bangkok to London with transits operating at the moment. Very interesting. Thank you, Roy. That's good information. I appreciate that. And I'm sure everybody else in the chat will appreciate that too. So thank you for sharing that. That's very interesting. Could always take a flight. If you're in the U.S., take a flight to London. See, the problem is if they don't do direct flights from the U.S. or keep in mind, direct and nonstop are two different things, okay? A direct flight just means that it's going from, you're going to take off in one place and land in another. Doesn't mean you're not going to have layovers. A nonstop flight means you're not going to have layovers. So keep that in mind when you guys are reading about your flights. Very important. Philtho says, I've been spoiled flying Qatar from Philly with a single short transfer layover in Doha for a total roughly 22 hours travel time. Now I'm finding flights with 30 plus hours and 2 or 3 stops. That's something I've never been really crazy about either. Those 2 or 3 stops, like the layover I always have in JFK is 8 hours. I mean, it's not fun to fly when you have that kind of layover. Well, Lloyd, Lyle has already sent his $25 in via PayPal. So he says, Lyle here, just gonna send it now. And that's the 25 he sent. So need 20 to match it, and I appreciate that, Lyle. I appreciate that very, very much. Thank you so much for that. So $20 to meet Lyle's challenge is what the channel's looking for here, and I appreciate that, Lyle, very, very, very much. Philtho says, what airlines you guys finding with better flight times? Charles says, I flew Air China in 2019. Not bad. The double security check was a pain. Last April was with Eva. Better quality of airport staff on my stopover. Eva's a good airline, in my opinion. Lando, no K-bombs in here. LOL. I hear you, bud. Chain Noise says, not bad if you get a Q suite. MedTech says, you're between the lines. Answer contained the information requested. I'm between the lines and answer the information requested. Did you request information? I didn't hear you, MedTech. I apologize. Please relist your question and I will gladly answer it. Chain Noise says, but without it, I'll pass. Talking about the Q suite. Understood. TT says, Jeremy, my patience is worn out. I tested negative for it, and I am on my way to another country that accepts me without jab. I don't blame you. No blame you there. People want to travel. People want to get out. People want to take their vacations, and I can't blame you. I would prefer that you came to Thailand because I would like to meet you, but at the same time, there's I get it. I get it. I get why people. We got $10 closer to meeting the challenge from Ralph. Thank you, Ralph. Appreciate that. Ross says, JC got to bounce. Wife needs me at resort today. Be safe, everyone. Thank you, Ross. Appreciate you coming in and contributing, man. Thank you for contributing to the conversation. Note from Ralph. Thumbs up. $10. $10 more and the challenge is met, gentlemen. $10 more and the challenge is met. Oh, I got something from the Cash App here. What do we have here? Oh, this is from Alonzo. Let's see if it accepts it. So Alonzo has sent $10, and that will be challenge met if it's a pending transfer. We'll see if it accepts the transfer or not. Very interesting. Thank you for at least for trying, Alonzo. I appreciate that very much. We'll see if it comes through or not. For some reason on my Cash App, new people have a hard time getting through. That's weird. Okay, let me go back up here and catch some more people. MedTech, you're talking about the monarchy question, I think. Yeah. I got you. I was sent a text that provided me with what you were talking about, so my apologies, sir. Yeah, read between the lines. Gotcha. Chang Noise says, but without it, I'll pass. Got that. TT, don't blame you. Asia Unscripted said, Taipei is closed to anyone needing to change flights. I did not know that, Asia Unscripted. Good to see you, man. And you want to give us an update on Vietnam? Just a brief little description on anything relative to what's going on in Vietnam as you are in Vietnam. That you would be the perfect person for that. I did not know Taipei was closed to anyone needing to change flights. I know they're having a situation right now, like many other Southeast Asian countries at the current moment. So, that's it's unfortunate, but it is what it is at this point. The Ralph, I appreciate your contribution there, sir. TT says, contact me if you need a job in the USA. I certainly will, TT. Thank you very much for that. As it stands, in case you missed the personal update, as of right now, first I would like for everybody to hit the thumbs up button. That would make me feel warm and fuzzy. Yes, Alonzo's transaction went through, so good job to the DoMoreLife family. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for bringing Lyle's challenge to fruition today. And thank you for the super chats as well, Richard and one second. Richard and Jason. Jason was the other person that sent the super chats. Greatly appreciate it, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I will do that, TT. But as a personal update right now, it looks like my job is going to continue. Going to be working just a little bit longer hours, but maybe more work involved during those hours. So I'll probably be a tired young man most of the time, but I will try to get out and travel again on the weekends and bring you guys some updates live from different areas. I'm just going to have to put myself in robot mode and go for sure. Thank you, TT, for that piece of information, for contacting you. I appreciate that. Travel TV says, got to go, JC. See you tomorrow. Okay, sounds good, bud. Best of luck to everything and getting yourself situated with coming over. Richard Cipher says Thailand 2022 for vacation. You know what, Richard? There's nothing wrong with that, man. There's nothing wrong with planning a 2022 vacation. Because the fact of the matter is, the longer out you plan your vacation, the more likely everything is going to run more smoothly, to be honest. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. Montez says, what do you think about the House of Cards coming down? I can't talk about that on here, man. I can't talk about that. I will say, I would just say it's about time, and leave it at that. Ryan says, aside from the V, are places up north like Chiang Rai, Chiang Mai affected by the situation in Myanmar? I haven't heard anything about those places specifically. I do know there are border towns that have been affected by the situation in Myanmar. There were a lot of people crossing the border illegally up there. And of course the police went up and did their thing. And I believe they have that situation under control. Good question, though. Greg says, thanks for circling back on the personal update. Good news. Congrats. Thanks, Greg. Montelli says, I told you it was going to be bad. I know you're always bad, Montelli. It's all right, man. It's all good. All right, let's dig into some more info here. This is very interesting. This, again, relates to Phuket, and it relates to the Sandbox Model. So this is, again, from the Tiger. The highlight reads, foreign workers get jabs in 2-day Phuket mass vaccination drive. It says in 2 days, yesterday and today, Phuket has set out to jab 22,613 migrant workers and 5,758 foreign workers who are legal with a work permit. They give one of the hospitals there has teamed up with a resort in the north of Phuket and Central Shopping Center in the middle of the island for the foreign worker mass jab drive. The resort has offered up its Angsana convention and exhibition space for the jab drive for foreign workers, using the large location to host all the jab recipients. Acronym ACES has been used by the government officials as it's a vaccine center for the duration of the jab campaign. Angsana released a statement praising the efforts as a major step towards the Phuket Sandbox reopening scheme on July the 1st. The Phuket Tourist Association and Ministry of Public Health are coordinating preparedness to receive guests, arranging procedures, protocol, and testing plans. The TAT, which is the Thailand Tourism Authority, Safety and Health Administration Program created the C-19 safety standards for hosting incoming tourists. It was reported that the Central Shopping Center was a much rougher scene compared to a smooth jab process in Angsana. Foreign workers waited in the car park for over an hour just to have the paperwork processed for being allowed into the shopping center to receive their jabs. Phuket had received a batch of 80 million Sino jabs on Tuesday to carry out the mass jab of foreign workers. Next week, another 120,000 jabs will arrive, and another drive will run from June the 11th. So far, 279,943 people have had one jab so far, and nearly 99,000 are fully vaccinated with 2 jabs. The number of single jab recipients is 60%. The target of 466,587 Phuket residents needed to be fully jabbed to reach the 70% inoculation threshold for herd immunity. As of now, only expats legally employed with a valid work permit are eligible for the jabs in Phuket. Government officials have not released any information on when or how expats that aren't working can receive a jab. Many expats are on marriage or retirement visas and don't have work permits who are still awaiting details on how foreign residents can get the jabs. So that is an update that I considered to be big news regarding Phuket. And I think that's going to play a part in what's going on. I also have some more news here for you in just a second. Greg's laughing. Montelli says, stolen straight from Sandy Moonstone. Can we talk about it if we say Gucci instead of fashion? I prefer not to, just because, you know, there's just so much crap surrounding that, and that's not really the topic of today's discussion. Maybe we'll have just an open discussion tomorrow, and we can talk about whatever. Shaky says, "Can we talk trash about Trump if we called him Thump instead?" No, sir. We're not talking politics on this channel at all. Yeah, I know Montelli. I know. It's all good. I don't see why not. Gucci sure has a lot of email attention. Philtho says, gratitude is an attitude. That's true. So just a moment to thank a bunch of vloggers who put Thailand on my radar back in mid-2019 and motivated me to just spontaneously hop on a plane before the V hit. There you go, man. Charles White says, I guess that's one thing you don't get with the elite visa. That, to the best of my knowledge, that's correct, Charles. To the best of my knowledge, I don't have any information that would contradict your statement currently. Philtho says, also thanks to the other vloggers for preparing me for the best. DoMoreLife. You're welcome. Shaky says, glad to hear this is a no politics zone. It definitely is. Definitely no politics here. All right. Siam Bioscience delivers 1.8 million local AZ jabs. And it's a start. Good news for today. This was a couple days ago. For Thailand's snail-paced roller coaster of jab rollout as the Ministry of Public Health. This is from the Tiger, not from me. Public Health has taken possession of the first 1.8 million AZ jabs produced domestically. The jabs were manufactured in the Bangkok. It says in the Bangkok by Siam Bioscience and are slated to be an integral part of Thailand's mass jab scheme, officially launching next Monday, which should be the 7th, I think. Siam Bioscience held a ceremony where AZ Thailand President James Teague officially handed over the jabs to Public Health Minister Mr. Anutin, his last name starts with a C, with other senior government officials in attendance. 6 million jabs will be received by the Public Health Ministry during the month of June, according to the Public Health Permanent Secretary. The jabs, both Sino and AZ, will be dealt out across the nation as they are received starting in Bangkok. That's good news for me. The permanent secretary said that provinces in the further reaches of the country may see their jabs arrive more slowly, but vowed to deliver all shipments by the scheduled date. As jabs become available, they will be allotted based on several factors and may stray from original plans. The needs will be assessed based on the severity of any outbreaks or clusters, whatever, in the provinces, as well as the relative importance of the province for tourism and other economic contributions. The delivery is a positive note and surprised some cynics after delays in Thai-made AZ jabs to the Philippines were announced. But Teague says the revised delivery date in the Philippines will be met and delivery to other Asian countries are on schedule. He also reassured that the Siam Bioscience produced jabs meet all the rigorous standards as foreign-produced AZ jabs, explaining that samples have already passed a 60-point review in the U.S. and U.K. for quality control. So, the domestic jabs are up and running, it does appear. And to me, that's a good thing. Very good thing. Very good thing. Let me catch some comments. Charles says, thumbs up at Philtho, same here. Prep4 says, good discussion, Jeremy. This is useful info. That's what I'm here for, man. I really hope you guys get some good info out of it. MacTech says, how fortunate that retirees cannot contract. I know, right? I guess they're prioritizing on the basis of availability and, of course, the economy. That would be my, that would be the conclusion that I would draw anyway. You know, I hate it for the retirees that are here, and I hate it for people that really want to see, you know, that really want to get their jabs here. So, but they're prioritizing it in a fashion. When they say foreigners with work permits, they're talking about people like teachers, I'm sure, but they're also talking about, this is important, business owners. And a lot of foreigners own a lot of the nightlife and entertainment venues that tourists seek out when they come to places like Phuket. So, you know, it kind of makes sense to make sure that they get their jabs, I guess, first. I hate to say that, but from an economic standpoint, it makes sense. I don't, morally and ethically, I'm going to leave that subject alone because, you know, I may feel a little bit different about that. Charles says, we all know the sea only attacks people after 9 p.m. and people that work. Yeah. So it seems. Filtho says, political chants here are limited to who has the best Sunday roast and whether or not baked beans are appropriate on a breakfast plate. 555. I hear you, man. I found that baked beans are pretty good on a breakfast plate, to be honest. I'd never tried that before I got to Thailand. Lyle says, beans any meal. I agree, Lyle. I agree. Montella says, does that mean Granny's bat soup is out? You're killing me, man. You're killing me. Pete says, hello, JC. I heard a lot of young, educated Thais are looking to immigrate to other countries because of bleak economic prospects in the country. I have read some information about that, Pete, and what I've found is that it seems, based upon the information I've read, that yes, there could be some truth to that. However, it also seems that that will likely be temporary, as most Thais want to live in Thailand. The vast majority of Thais want to stay here. I don't know a lot. It's not like it's a stark contrast between here and the Philippines, where if you meet Filipino, especially Filipino, they're more than willing to get out of the country and go wherever you are. Here in Thailand, usually most of the Thais want to stay in Thailand. There are exceptions, but for the most part, that, I don't know, they love their country, they love the culture, and they just want to stay here. So I would imagine that anybody that did that would be more of a temporary basis than anything else. MedTech says, Pete, I have circumstantial evidence that tallies with your claim. Same here. So yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think that's a far-fetched idea, Pete, at all. In fact, I think it's pretty good. Let's catch a little bit of Pattaya news, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Trying not to keep you guys up all night or start your day out real long. There are a lot of business owners, foreign business owners in Pattaya, just so you know, that are supporting the Thais in Pattaya, that are handing out free meals, doing a lot of good things in the Pattaya area. An interesting article here from, I want to read you, and again, this refers to vaccine allocation and the rollout. It says an additional 25 million doses of J&J and Pfizer jabs to be ordered within June. Thailand ready to distribute more jabs next Monday, and we know that to be June 7th. Thailand is preparing to order another 25 million doses of J&J and Pfizer jabs within June. The Director General of the Department of Disease Control stated at a daily briefing on June the 4th. Dr. Opas, last name starts with a K, stated next Monday, June 7th, marks a milestone for everyone in Thailand, despite nationalities, ages, to start to register and receive their first shot or first jab for free for free of charge as ordered by the Prime Minister. On editor's note, these statements are the doctors. We are aware hospital statements and local statements around jab registration may differ depending on location. Keep in mind, June 7th is a starting date, not a guaranteed date that everyone will be able to register or get a jab from this date. Then it says from February 28th to May 31st, a total of 3,600,000 plus out of 4 million doses have been inoculated in Thailand, especially in high infection areas such as Bangkok, where 1 million shots have been distributed, the Director General added. Note, many of these were first jabs only. The PM has ordered to provide 25 million doses of J&J and Pfizer jabs, although when they will arrive is not clear and may not be until much later in the year. Meanwhile, an additional 8 million doses of Sino will be arriving in the kingdom within June, Dr. Opus added. So it looks like they finally got the ball rolling, and they're on their way to getting some things accomplished as far as the jabs go. There's really not a lot of other news out of Pattaya right now, other than it's pretty much a ghost town, and I feel really bad for them, to be honest with you. It's, it is what it is. It's a sad situation. Oh, I have a super sticker, Robert B. Thank you very much for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Thank you very much, sir. Charles says, I heard the U.S. was sending some jabs too. So the U.S. plan, I read that yesterday that the administration had committed to sending a certain number of jabs to other countries. I could not find anywhere where Thailand was specified or was allocated a certain number of jabs. There may be, but I didn't find that number. I was unable to find that number. So I'm not sure. I know for a fact that they committed some to the Philippines. I do know that. I'm not sure of the exact number they allocated for the Philippines, but I do know that they did allocate some for the Philippines. Rob P says, do you know about proving you have already overcome the virus taking the jab to enter Thailand? So the deal with that is I know what the initial reaction was, Rob, and the reason Robert deleted your comment was because of the wording for YouTube, not for us. So don't take offense to it. The initial reaction to that was, if you had it within the last, I believe, 90 days, you're okay. But now it seems like the jabs are the primary. Like if you hadn't been jabbed, you're going to run into some problems. Everything points to that, is what I'm trying to say. So, I wouldn't get my hopes up on anything else for sure. Shecky says, do you know what be accepted as proof a person has been jabbed? Yeah, bring your paperwork. On your certificate of entry that you have to fill out from the Thai embassy, you should have your paperwork from wherever you got jabbed at, and they should be able to either attach or file that with the COE. Charles says, at Rob, only if you have proof of recovery within 90 days of arrival. That's what I was thinking. Robert B., long-time listener, first-time caller. I hear you, man. Thank you very much for the super sticker, Robert. I'm glad you've been around a long time. Thanks for making yourself known. We appreciate the comment. Felto says, in the interest of welcoming international travelers, someone needs to start an initiative that Thai last names be limited to no more than 27 letters with at least one vowel per 10 letters. Just saying. Hey, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I believe that's why they have the nickname system here in Thailand. You know, everybody goes by their nickname. Very few people actually are asked to be called by their real Thai name. Because it's usually very long. Roy says the beaches in Pattaya have all open and are back to normal. Late afternoon, it was quite busy. I did not receive that information, Roy, so I'll just take your word for it, buddy. The beaches in Pattaya have all opened and are back to normal. Now, I did read that a week ago they were still punishing people on the beaches, but hey, if the restrictions have been lifted, that's great. That's fantastic. That means that much closer to reopening. Personally, I would be surprised if it takes until October to get Pattaya reopened, because that's a big tourist site, tourist city, and I feel like Thailand would lose a lot of revenue, or they're losing a lot of revenue the longer that Pattaya stays closed down. So maybe Phuket sees a big surge, and the best thing we can do is to hope that the scheme in Phuket, the Sandbox Model in Phuket, goes very, very, very well. Otherwise, we don't know what's going to happen. Shaky says the paperwork I received was just a card. He retracted his message. That's the paperwork I was referring to, though, and that should be enough. So that's an hour and a half, guys. We hit a great goal and got some super chats, and man, I'm thoroughly impressed with my community as always. Love the DoMoreLife family. Love you guys. I want to just start by thanking everyone who commented today, even Montelli, in the comment section. Yeah, Phuket needs to work. That's right, Montelli. 100%. Phuket needs to work. But I want to thank everybody for contributing to the conversation today. I really genuinely appreciate your comments. I want to thank Live for throwing out a challenge, which we reached. And I want to thank those who helped reach that challenge. I really appreciate it. Also want to thank Jason and Richard for the super chats. And I definitely want to thank Alonzo, Griffin, Ralph. Who else did we get money from? Lyle, Mr. Charles White, appreciate him very much. And if I missed somebody, I apologize, but thank you guys so much for the contributions. You have no idea how much these contributions help the channel keep going and help provide security in uncertain times here in Thailand. Really, it goes a long way, and I am truly, truly grateful for it. So I want you all to know that this is not money that I use to pay my rent with. This is money that we use for the channel, traveling equipment, and occasionally there may be a time when something comes up that in development that I'm working on several projects right now. Some of that money's allocated to it, and I really appreciate the contributions, guys. It helps a lot. Shaky says, thanks for the info. Much appreciated, Jeremy. Oh, I want to thank my channel members. If you're not a channel member, you should become one. It's only $2.99 a month, and you can cancel at any time. It's super easy to sign up. Robert, if he's listening, can probably drop that link in the chat right now. or you can hit the join button under any of my videos, and it'll take you through the process and tell you what you get. There's now quite a bit of content for channel members, and some of it is rather exciting. So I encourage you to become a channel member and be updated on things that we don't put on the main YouTube channel. But thank you to my channel members who are here, especially my long-term channel members. Really appreciate you guys. Mark says, have a great day, everyone. MedTech says he can go online to print the accompanying certificate. That's right, MedTech. Very good point. Very good point. I forgot about that. Philtho says, if Phuket doesn't work, what are the chances it will be covered up? I think you already know the answer to that question. That's a good one, bud. Griffin, appreciate you. Thank you, man. Lyle says, Jeremy's nickname is Very Pale Man. I am pale. I'm very pale. I do need to get out in the sun some, for sure. Absolutely. There is the channel member link that Robert has just put in. If you guys want to become a channel member, that is the link to do it. And channel members is the easiest way in the world to support the channel, and you get some additional content and some perks behind the scenes. So that's entirely up to you guys. But we have quite a few channel members, and I don't think anybody's been disappointed thus far. So with that being said, I really, truly hope that you guys have a blessed day and night. I will see you tomorrow morning, same time, and we will have a new topic. Make sure, yeah, Charles, that's it. Night all and DoMoreLife. Whatever you guys do today, remember that I appreciate you, and also remember to either do more life or make plans to do more life. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for an excellent chat today. Wait, Mark says, before we go, is there anything we need to circle back to? I think we pretty much covered it, Mark, but thank you. That's hilarious. All right, guys, have a good one. See you guys tomorrow.